Another week, another episode of AFL Unpopular Opinions, but it's a special kind of episode because it's an episode where our Snapshot boys brought home a winning multi, and that's always worth celebrating. Hello everyone, my name is Dylan Leach. I will be your host for the next little while, and joining me is two people who actually did play football. Two-time best and fairest winner for the Brisbane Lions. He also holds the record for the most disposals at the Gabba in a game, 47. In a Q clash, which I don't think he actually got the Marcus Ashcroft medal in. He represents Tom Rockliff's here. Hello, Tom.
No, didn't get that one. I should have been playing Lynchy. Pierce. So we had 92 between us. He had 45.
Right.
I think he had over 1,000 metres game.
I remember that. That's why I gave him 3.
Yeah, I think we both had. Might both kicked a couple as well. Dominated. But I thought you were going to say the record at Eddie had or Marvel.
That was last week's quiz. You held the Gabba record as well.
That quiz isn't coming back, is it? Surely
it's coming back. Punters loved the quiz. People love quizzes.
Cringe TV, that would have been.
No, it was good. It was good.
It's come back today, is it?
No, it's not coming back today. Different Q&A this week.
You're just going to let
But the quiz every now and then, we'll just do a little quiz.
Make it easier. Give us a chance.
Oh, don't worry.
Well, I think it was a bit flat that the first 5 questions, we had no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's... But it says more about the contestants than the questions.
Although I did see Jason Dunstall on the Thursday night game. Mm-hmm. He's rolled with a couple of your questions in the...
oh, does he?
Yeah, in the post-game.
Well, hello, Chief. You must listen to the show. That's Alastair Lynch, everyone. He's third on the all-time Brisbane Lions / Bears goal-kicking list.
That's count all yours?
Is that Fitzroy as well?
No, just Brisbane goals.
Okay.
Are you number one?
I don't know.
If they combine, because they don't count.
No, because you were a backman for Fitzroy. He played down back for Fitzroy.
Yeah, it was loose.
Yeah.
Loose backman.
But there wouldn't be that many that have kicked it a heap.
Or Bernie Quinlan would have kicked a shitload.
Yeah.
Doc Wilden.
Doc Wilden.
Ex-teammates of yours.
Doc Wilden, the doctor.
Well, we're going to say congratulations to
I was about to say congratulations
Oh, yeah.
because Alastair Lynch became a grandfather last week.
I did for the very first time. My eldest daughter, Madison, had her first child, Theodore.
Yeah.
So, fantastic. Last Tuesday night it was, so no, very good news. And they're both well, healthy and home.
That's what we want to hear.
So,
what are you? Grandpa, Pop, Pa, Lynchy?
My family, they're all Pop.
Okay.
So I'm
Pop.
Yeah, I'm Pop.
Okay.
Old Pop.
Old Pop, yeah.
Actually, Tim Notting has called me Pop for 30 years.
I was about to say,
I thought you might have been a great grandfather.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes I felt like
I was about to say, if there's anyone that's going to easily adjust to being a grandpa, it's you.
Yeah, no. So
you were born for the role.
Weaned onto that name for quite a while. So the last, 25 years.
Yeah.
But I'm ready to go. But I've been old for a while. Obviously,
You have been.
with footy, being old.
You were old in your debut year.
Yeah, well, I was. I was probably 19 in my debut year because I didn't come over straight away. But my 2 younger brothers have been grandfathers for a while too.
Okay.
So then you feel old.
Good.
Right.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's
Rightio. Tell us about this win. What
are we, 13-1? We had a good one. Bulldogs Carlton, so Bulldogs head-to-head. So it was a tough... Well, not a tough watch, but a tricky one because they came home.
Yep.
The easiest of them all was Gold Coast Suns to win against Melbourne.
Never in doubt.
Well, we'll get to that. I sacked Goody last week. He might be chopping block this week. GWS plus 12.5. So I was smoking the cigar at quarter time and then got real nervous when Hawthorn put a bit of a gap, but they found a way to get back into it. And then North Melbourne plus 41.5.
And the Crows won by 36 in the end.
Yeah.
So it was as good as a 1-goal win to the Kangaroos for us last night.
Hands and heels.
So
and that's the first for a little while.
12 months, I reckon. we won like around 2 or 3 last year and didn't win. So
come on, back it up.
Board.
Well, we had Dylan's bag of snags the week before, the multi this week. So just follow the Neds
10-1.
The winners are coming
This week.
Right,
so
10-1.
Exciting.
Chance,
we'll find out what that multi is when the snapshot drops with Rocky and Ryan tomorrow. Lynchy, I do actually want to probe you on something.
Right.
And you
what have I said?
You haven't said anything.
Yeah.
I want you to respond to something that's been said before we get into the hot takes and whatnot from the round.
Yeah.
Sam Mitchell, Hawthorn coach.
Yeah.
Hawthorn play games in Launceston.
Yes.
And there's an article in both the Herald Sun and the Age today where Sam's like, Hawks can live in harmony with Devils in Tasmania. And he said in his post-game press conference, he says, my personal view, it makes perfect sense. We've been coming here for over 20 years now. we're not all homegrown, but we certainly feel at home, and to play against them on a regular basis would make the Devils in Launceston would make sense. Now, do you want Hawthorn out of Launceston?
I think we heard Brendan Gale a couple of weeks ago say that he'd prefer that Hawthorn disappear. Mm-hmm. I understand where Sam's coming from, because even when he was back playing, I mean, over the last, about 30 years, I would have thought they've been playing games there.
Since 2001.
Essentially, financially, it's sort of stabilised them from being on the brink to being extremely powerful and profitable. So, no, I get where they're coming from, but no, I would say push off.
Push off?
No, ideally speaking, but I think if there's there'll be opportunities to discuss this further down the track, no doubt. With the redevelopment of York Park as well, or UTAS Stadium, there's been considerable infrastructure spend that's about to start there. So there'll be plenty of games there moving forward. So, yeah, there might be an option, but, yeah, Brendan was pretty strong and he'd like to see them out.
Would you like to see them out?
Well, I think we just want to see the Tasmanian Footy Club playing plenty of football in Tasmania in the best venues possible. So we see, clubs can sell games to come down and play in Tassie if they want. But
they built the stadium yet?
No, not yet. Not yet.
They're arguing about a roof, aren't they? On or off?
Well, there's no argument as far as I'm concerned. Or
off?
Well, it's on.
On.
It has to be on. Part of the agreement with their provisional licence is that there has to be a stadium with a roof. Right. Otherwise, there's no club. So, and I'm not sure the AFL are going to back down on that. So we haven't heard anything to suggest that that might be the situation.
So literally keep a lid on it.
Well, absolutely. Did I hear that Old Trafford are looking to do a redevelopment as well? Because that's one of the wettest cricket grounds. And so they're looking at the Tasmanian Stadium to replicate that at Old Trafford.
And speaking of stadiums, the Gabba will be no longer after 2032, and the Lions will be calling, well, I don't think it will be called Victoria Park, but a new stadium in Brisbane home after the Olympics, 60,000 capacity.
That's incredible. If they're going to replicate what we've seen at Optus Stadium here with 63,000, that's incredible for not only Australian and Queensland cricket, but the Brisbane Lions. Where that's come from over the years, think of the Bears days at the sort of under-resourced Carrara to where they are, or where they're going to get to. Absolutely incredible to see that facility now on the drawing board.
They need it though, don't they? Like,
absolutely,
even
they need
concerts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If you get more than what Suncorp can hold, get Taylor Swift. You were going to watch Swiftie when she comes out.
Yeah, I'll be there.
It is.
It's
overdue.
Yeah.
Well overdue.
Well, it is. I mean, the Gabba, as we've spoken about before, it's landlocked, so you can't get parking. You know, the facilities there are tired. Yeah, they are tired, and I think everyone's the Gabba Trust have recognised that it is tired, but why spend money on it without a clear direction moving forward? Yeah. So now the direction's there. Tipping it won't get done up too much more.
No.
But then in 32, move across the road or across the city to Vic Park is going to be amazing.
Needs it for the population growth. So good result from the Queensland government.
Great result. And it'll be more an Optus stadium than a Homebush. You know, Homebush.
Yeah, no, don't make it like Homebush.
Just you think about the modern arena that the stands go straight up, basically.
Yeah.
MCG up here. If we're talking up here, Suncorp Stadium.
Great views,
unbelievable views.
I had cheap seats there the other day at Suncorp Stadium for the game on Friday night in the rugby league. Had one of the best views.
Yeah. So the Brisbane Lions, in a short period of time, have gone from being under-resourced with training facilities to have
Springfield
$100 million training facility out at Springfield with room to move. They're about to build another ground out there, and then going to Victoria Park. It's huge.
Imagine
they were broke.
Imagine if I had that. I only averaged 27 at the other. I would average 35.
Oh, here we go.
Well, extra space, you reckon? Extra space.
Facilities. I mean, we used to drive to training. You would have been the same. Yeah. We used to have our footy boots in the back and all our training gear in our boots because we were at four different venues to train during the summer.
Absolutely.
It's exciting.
We were pretty much just a Cooperoo, just in the local sheds down there. Yeah. No, it was very different. It's come a long way.
Exciting times ahead.
Very much so.
What did we take from round 3 in the AFL?
Well,
Tom wants to
before we jump to round 3 and get the opinions. Back over something. I think we made our pre-season predictions, didn't we? I think I may have stated that Laura Kane by mid-season won't be there or will be shifted on, and effectively without moving her on, they've done it, haven't they? By round 3. with their appointment of bringing, is it Jeff Walsh?
Jeff Walsh
has come in. He's effectively taking that role, so we can give myself a tick for that one, I would have thought.
Give yourself a pat on the back.
You have to be a bit careful, but I was right.
You've had your winning multi, plus you had your winning pre-season prediction.
By round 3. I said it'd take till round 10 or 11.
Right here.
Yeah, he's flying. But yeah, no, Walshy just that wealth of experience, that great footy acumen, just to support Laura. So she's not getting moved on.
She's moved on. To do her effectively, she hasn't done a great job, I think we can all acknowledge. So more support around her. I'll stand by it. I know you two are going to distance yourself from it, but I mean, and there's talk of it being female and stuff like that. It's just ability to do your job, and that's what Jeff will come in and assist to do. So big tick for me.
Just if you want to give yourself a tick, yeah,
just
nice.
Gets the multi up, gets his predictions up. Yeah. He's just got a bit of swagger today. Yeah. He's just acted like he's got 35 effective disposals and a couple of sneaky goals.
Yes,
that's how.
And I'll tell you what, the other
in a winning
that
game
I made last week about Simon Goodwin, that may come true, and Vossi. Speaking of coaches on the hot seat,
actually, who would you rather be at the moment, Voss? Would you rather be Melbourne or Carlton? Who's in a better? Who would you rather be?
I'd rather be. Well, I'd rather be Melbourne because they won a flag not long ago.
Okay,
so you can justify a rebuild.
They've underachieved though. And
Melbourne,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like they won the flag, but then they should have been competing. They've dropped right away. I think you'd still prefer to be Melbourne because what you'll do is move Oliver on and a couple. In my opinion, at the end of the season, bring in some picks, reboot your talent straight away while you still got good talent there. But they're dysfunctional at the moment, and Gold Coast pulled them apart. Absolutely pulled them apart. But Carlton as well, they're good footy's good enough still to match it with the best teams in the competition, in my opinion. And I think they've been in a couple of games the last couple of weeks. They're in it against Hawthorn, they're in it against the Dogs. Running out of legs.
That's the major difference, isn't it? Like the competition's so tight. Most teams, argue Melbourne probably don't, but can play at the level for a period. And Carlton did that. They started to move the ball better in the early parts of the game, probably weren't capitalising when they went forward, but then just stopped.
It's like they freeze.
Absolutely freeze. And it's not just the start of this year, obviously.
No.
Was it 10 of the last 12 games?
I think it's also
West Coast and North in the last 12 games.
It's also Melbourne, and they've lost a fair few of their more recent games as well, not factoring in...
Melbourne was hard to watch.
Ooh.
They were getting the ball at times and just slaughtering it forward. And, the other way, the Gold Coast, well, they're the flip side of the story.
Gold Coast,
we spoke about Gold Coast. They got a win in Perth, which was good. But MCG, just the way they did it, Rowell just going to another level. Yeah. You know what, Matt Rowell, there is no way he'll leave the Gold Coast Suns. You've heard different?
Oh, I'm not as convinced as you, but I think if they continue to on this track, then
so what? Matt Rowell's 23.
They need to get his signature.
I'd be if I was Matt Rowell, I'd be signing a 2-year contract now. So extending. Well, gives him the option. Absolutely.
It's a smart play.
But you know what? Two
years. Contracts.
So if he goes a two-year contract now, he knows if what we've seen over the last couple of weeks is sustainable and going to be franked by either playing finals or improving that much that finals almost is a must next year. If it doesn't work out, he's out at 25. He'll sign the biggest contract probably in the league in 2 years' time. And, I mean, Tassie's irrelevant outside the fact that it gives him another option.
It's not irrelevant because you're going to be cashed up, and you're going to want to get superstars. And he has the potential to be a Brownlow medalist. The way he plays, he has.
And probably you'd know this better than I, but you've watched him firsthand a lot. He was just burning up that much energy and going from bang crash one contest to the next contest, and you almost sort of feel like saying to him, mate, just get a bit of soft agate on the outside just to fatten your numbers up. But he's getting into space now, so he actually is getting a bit of uncontested ball as well.
He looks like he's got his legs back where he can get out of the contest, and you're spot on. Like I said to Ryan in the snapshot, we spoke about Matty Rowell, he's being backed off the mat for the Brownlow. But his big thing was if he had 30 in a game, 28 of them would have been contested and hard ball, where now he's got the balance right of being able to get inside and outside, and his skills are good on the outside.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, there's a sign of the times when Gold Coast versus Adelaide at Carrara, or what's it called this
People
week?
First.
People First Stadium.
Yeah.
This Saturday afternoon is without doubt the game of the round.
Match of the round.
Match
I mean, there'll be more eyes watching Collingwood and Carlton for probably different reasons. I mean, great big supporter bases, but such a huge game for Carlton. But it is. It's legitimate. I mean, Adelaide have improved enormously as well.
And they're a lot of fun. They're a high-scoring attacking team. They're a lot of fun to watch at the moment.
And it just when we were doing that pre-season game, although we endorsed their three big forwards, you think the question is, can three big forwards function in the same team these days? But they're functioning beautifully. And what a luxury to have Taylor Walker. And when you're getting late in your career, it's great if you can pick up the second or third defender. Yeah. And the best defender, who's a star on each opposition team, goes to one of the young blokes. And so Tex is thinking, how good's this?
Keep going. Play for another 3 years.
He could. The Doomsday, so just going back to the previous point, so obviously we've got Collingwood Carlton Thursday night. And then,
game.
Melbourne has to go down to Geelong to face the Cats on Friday night. What's the Doomsday situation? Will one of these teams have a new coach in time for gather round if they are 0-4? Or are the clubs a bit?
Nah,
Melbourne.
That is like an extreme doomsday. But what
if anyone has history of it? Is potentially Carlton jumping at shadows, but they need a win. I don't think they can win.
I'll tell you what is a great value bet involving Carlton would be the halftime, full-time lead. So Carlton will lead at halftime and the opposition to win. Noted, put that in the snapshot. That's just been a thing all year because Carlton have found themselves in front at times and just don't know how to win. And Melbourne, Melbourne actually, I wouldn't be shocked if good Melbourne sort of gets themselves together on the road and has a crack at Geelong, but... Yeah, I mean, a lot of people...
Melbourne aren't going to beat Geelong. Geelong have been okay.
They were pretty good.
They got touched up by a very good team on the weekend in the second half.
Lions, yes.
But, Carlton's a concern. Vossi and his experience with Lee Matthews, these are sort of situations Lee would be going very much back to your own individual roles and sort of focusing on that rather than this daunting task. Because what happens when you're losing games or you're in poor form yourself, you're thinking, I've got to kick a goal or I've got to win and they're outcomes. So Vossi will be trying to bring it back to what you can control, very cliched and boring, but that's what you need to do. And so, run a game out.
Play with freedom.
Yeah, they look tight, don't they?
They start the game and they're playing with freedom, they get out and then an opposition will kick 2 or 3 and then they tighten up. Yeah. That's when they look like, here we go again. So I think the other one we can't gloss over either is my old mob Port Adelaide on Thursday night against Essendon.
Wasn't that
that was a terrible game, both teams.
Shocking game of football.
But Port Adelaide, so that was disappointing.
Port face St Kilda.
That's
Adelaide.
Doomsday, I reckon.
And that is a genuine banana peel danger game for Port.
Port favourites, but if St Kilda go over there and roll over the top of them...
St Kilda are due to get a couple of players back, surely, as well.
Well, they were. It was a good arm wrestle against Richmond, but then their second half they played some really, really good footy. If they turn up and do that against Port Adelaide, Port will come fired up. I have no doubt about that. But you talk about doomsdays and coaches.
But we spoke 3 weeks ago. Our expectations weren't great for Port anyway.
No, I thought they may have played finals, but gee, they look like almost a bottom 4 at times. They don't look like they rolled over the top of Richmond, which we expect most teams to do. Yep. Richmond coming off a good win round 1. You expect them to have a downer the next week. But I expected them to beat Essendon on the weekend, particularly after the Crows put 170 on them the week before.
Speaking of Essendon with their win, how good is Merrett?
He's a freak.
He is actually.
Underpaid.
His work rate to lead that team was absolutely incredible, what he was doing. And I thought he led the way. What stood out to me was that Essendon high pressure early.
Yeah.
They were prepared to handball the ball forward and run. And when they lost possession, they just pressured back the other way. But Merrett just stood out. You'd love to go to the footy each week and watch that man lead your club.
You speak about what makes him a great player is his work rate, his ability from contest to contest.
And that's obvious, isn't it?
Yeah, you watch it live, you watch it on TV, you'll see him. He always goes, and people go, he's trying to... But that's just work rate. He just burns his opponents. And the week before, I think he had 36 and kicked 4 in a losing team. Like, he leads from the front, and his work rate is what gets him from contest to contest.
Yet again, the opening round curse comes into the fixture because that's a bit of a momentum killer after a big win like that to then have the bye this week, Essendon. You'd think they'd want to keep going again, won't you?
Oh, they'd like it, but if you're going to get a win,
you may as well.
if you're going to have a long break, you want to go into
You want it after a win. That is very true.
Win, that's for sure.
That is very true.
Yes, but no, encouraging signs for the Bombers, I would have thought.
So but at the moment we've only got 3 teams yet to register the victory. So obviously Carlton and Melbourne. West Coast, West Coast are in a probably similar situation that they've been for the past few years, and unfortunately they faced the Giants on Sunday.
That could get ugly.
That could be ugly.
West Coast?
Yeah.
With McGovern probably out with a groin.
Yeah.
Definitely out.
Oscar Allen couldn't sketch one. He can't draw a footy at the moment.
Are you doing that game?
I'll be there.
Ooh.
Yeah, if it's a Giant stadium, Lynchy's there.
Yeah, I'll be there.
He's part of the furniture there.
NG Stadium. That's a big game for West Coast. Going back, I want to go back to the Merrett discussion.
Yeah.
You'd be happy for him to lead your team. I tell you what, if I wouldn't mind losing the first pick and then getting second pick and going Libba, Tom Liberatore, he's getting better. With Bont being out of the team over the last few weeks, the way he's led, I think he's been Merrett-like. Like, he's one of those elite leaders now. Just if you needed someone to play for your life,
it just thrives on the contest,
doesn't he? What?
Yeah.
No, he's incredible.
Absolute superstar. And you speak about he's probably matured a fair bit over the last. I think he still enjoys a good time by the looks of him, and
he looks like that.
Knows how to have a good time, but he also fronts up, and again, it's another one that just wills himself from contest to contest.
I do walk past him occasionally at a local pub in Fitzroy.
Yes.
Next time I'll go over and say hello. But he looks like he's enjoying himself. Well, a great player.
Nothing wrong with a bit of work hard and play hard.
Bloody oath.
Nothing wrong with that. We are recording this on a Monday morning. Naturally, Monday morning or Monday talk is about the Tribunal. And obviously, Rhyan Mansell at Richmond got 3 weeks for that push into Liam O'Connell from St Kilda, resulting in him having what could have been a head injury. There's been a lot of, he shouldn't get suspended because Gibney from West Coast didn't get it for doing something similar to Lawler.
Yep.
It's a football, the usual, it's a football action and whatnot. This show is called Unpopular Opinions, and you would think me looking with yellow and black glasses
Well,
would
come
be
on, then.
like, I
Get
think...
it off your chest.
No, I think the suspension is reasonable given how the AFL Tribunal works, because if you're begging for consistency and precedent in the AFL Tribunal, it's not going to happen.
The last week, the league had come out and clarified almost exactly this.
Yeah, exactly.
incident.
The league issued a memo that they would crack down on it. It resulted in a collision. And there is probably an argument that Mansell could have foreseen something happening. Now, and I don't know because I haven't played at the highest level, obviously.
That's going to be an interesting part of the discussion.
In that situation, do you actually... I don't think you can foresee it, but if it's been noted in the week leading up that we're cracking down on this, maybe a thought comes down. So whataboutism and precedent doesn't exist in the AFL Tribunal, and that's a discussion for another day, but the fact is the AFL said they'd crack down on it. An incident happened. It just happened to be a player from the team I barrack for. I think the suspension is reasonable given what they said they would do.
I think the 3-week suspension seems harsh. I think on the back of what's happened and the build-up over the last probably 6 weeks through the practice match series and the injuries that have been sustained there. And remember... Starcevic won. That's different. That was a marking contest.
Yep.
And that's different to this. I think he will get suspended. They'll try to get the suspension down
reduced,
a bit, I would have thought.
Yep.
But it's an interesting one because pushing is part and parcel of what you do, and I'm only imagining what happens in contests or stoppages, but I know in the forward line you're pushing well before the Lock and Dunstall would push all the time, and now this is different.
It's a very different game, Dan.
Yeah, but they push off to do that pre-work so you can get to the ball. I'd imagine. I don't think he was thinking I'm going to push my opponent into trouble.
No,
he's thinking I'm going to push him so I can get the ball. And I would have thought you would have pushed around stoppages all the time.
Yeah, and when you used to have third man up and stuff like that, you'd be trying to push and get space and separation. I think we're asking a lot of the players to not engage in contact, and what you're going to effectively see if we continue on this path is people just pull out of contest. And you're going to have to accept it as a footy fan, as a commentator or a lover of the game. You're just going to have to accept that sometimes your opponent's going to pull out. It's like Archer, the one he gets suspended for. Sometimes a player's just going to have to slow down, let the opposition pick it up. If we're starting to suspend players for pushing and engaging, it's a tricky one because realistically, if you don't know what's coming, like we're asking the players to now predict what's coming behind them, potentially what they can't see. Like, is that fair and reasonable to say that you can't push someone expecting the flight of the footy, you might be watching it, get rid of your opponent, but there's a pack coming the other way? It's a tricky one. I don't like it, but the AFL is going to try and protect themselves.
It's been said a lot. Yeah, and that is the major thing. But it's been spoken about a lot. Small forwards especially, and his role on the weekend, push. They try to push a teammate under the ball or push him to the other side of the contest. And so,
prime example, right, you speak about stoppages and trying to get your opponent. So if we had, say, Steph Martin, for instance, or your ruckman, you're trying to get him to hit it to the outside. You've got your opponent in front. You're trying to push him. And whether it makes contact or not, you're almost throwing him into the ruckman and the ruckman collide with him. Like, are we going to suspend players for that? If we push our opponent, the ruckman are coming forward at a boundary throw in, you push your opponent to get the outside space.
But so what's your intention there, though? So you're not pushing him in to get hurt.
No, you're trying to get him out of the contest and get the space out the back. So you're trying to protect the space, which I think most players are trying to do when they're pushing someone. They're trying to, aren't they?
Well, Tom Atkins on the weekend with Lachie Neale, he's got the tag and roll. He's had that position behind and he's pushing Lachie Neale into the contest on all occasions. So that's a similar sort of situation. But if he gets hurt and he's pushed him in there...
So if he pushes Lachie trips on his feet or cops a knee to the face, knocks him out, are we accepting that as a suspension?
Yeah, no, it's a tough one.
It's a slippery slope.
So however, I can't see him get off. I can't. If he happened to get off, they will rewrite the rule where he doesn't get off next time.
Well, I think that's what I think.
Risk factor.
But someone did get off, and that was in the pre-season when.
They didn't even cite a few in the pre-season.
But it was spoken about, and then you had people say, "Well, how come he got off?"
A few occasions,
and it's happening. So
no. Well, to be fair to the AFL, they've adjusted the rules because they've seen head injury.
Correct.
So they've made an adjustment there. They've clarified that. Well, as best they probably could.
They've clarified something that has a lot of grey area.
Bloody oath it does. And that's why you've got to send it to the tribunal. Yeah. Have the discussion. What is the rule moving forward?
So I think the tribunal will probably meet, Tuesday? We're doing this Monday morning, so you'd think there would be a Tuesday meeting. So if you're listening to this on Wednesday, fascinated to see what the outcome will be. I assume either the suspension will stand or Rhyan Mansell will miss 1 week.
So would that be a free kick? So if he gets 3 weeks?
I don't know.
So next week,
good luck.
When we see that, is it going to be a free kick?
Who knows?
Only if he gets knocked out.
Flip the coin and see what happens. Depends on the umpire and what they want to pay.
Well, you know, I suppose on the back of that, we make it so hard for the umpires.
Oh, absolutely we do.
Not us.
No, yeah, that's right. The industry makes it so hard for the umpires, and I think outside you've got to be a great decision maker on the rules that are continually evolving. Plus, you've got to be capable of running a good half marathon time. Plus, you've got to bounce the ball in the middle of the ground. I think if you're going to make rule adjustments in the middle of the year, let's do it now. I think it's it's tough on the umpires. Let's sack the bounce straight away.
Yeah.
How many times is the bounce?
That was on Saturday night. There was a few recalls.
Well, it's happening all the time. But we're asking so much of the umpires that unless you bounce it, unless you can run a half marathon, you're not going to get a game. And
unless you can adapt to it.
And then we say, they're making bad decisions. We've got a pool of players which is just so small, a pool of umpires that is so small, and we make it harder. So sack the bounce, that'll relieve the pressure on the umpires straight away. So I'm sure they'll be thinking, they won't publicly say it, I'm sure they're thinking,
you can see it.
God for that. The anxiety
when they don't have 666 and they go and give a warning, it's almost relief because they're like, I can just throw this right up now.
Yeah. Well, they should just throw it up. I think need to do that, take the pressure off the umpires and get a bigger pool. Yeah. And as we said last year, I think almost every umpiring team should have a bloke that's over 100 kilos.
You have suggested that.
Yeah, I think absolutely. Not marathon runners.
So I think
decision makers.
I think with the whole Mansell situation is we were told it was coming. Someone was going to cop the brunt of it. It happened to be Rhyan Mansell that copped the brunt of what the league was cracking down on. So it's not a shock out of the blue suspension. It's expected. I think the intention of what they're trying to crack down on is good because obviously we've seen the damage of what CTE and all that can do. It's just, unfortunately, it's just such a slippery grey area.
The AFL are in a very tough situation.
It's a rock and a hard place.
Brayshaw last year, Brandon Starcevich, as we're going through at the moment, you've had a number of teammates that have been out with concussions, never to play again. I think Brisbane has had about 3 in the last decade, I reckon.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Was it Clark, Maguire?
Yep.
And last year,
Justin Clark,
and the ex-Bulldog defender, yes, mental blank. That's pretty
Adams.
CTE. Adams.
So
terrible situations.
Yeah, it's a tough one, but I think the right thing. I think the intention is a good intention, and I'm happy to support a good intention than just what is best for.
All right, good intention. While we're on umpires and good intentions. The bloody goal review. The goal review. Yuck. But again, we make it very difficult. The goal review was always brought in for the howler, wasn't it?
So it was meant to be like a third umpire, like the cricket used to be. Yeah,
and if there's obviously a mistake, because again, everyone makes mistakes. If there's an obvious mistake, But if you're looking at, so the Sam Darcy Wiedering touch paid a goal. They should come out...
This was on Friday night, yes.
Yeah, they should come out Monday because we didn't... They showed 10 replays. You couldn't see Wiedering's finger move at all. But then the decision was that Wiedering has touched the ball. They should come out and clarify that and show us his finger moving back. Because with the 10 replays, watching at home on 4K on Fox Footy...
there you go.
Just look at really... Even with that...
She's not at the venue.
They were at the venue. Even with that great clarity, you couldn't see it. So that's the one. Don't guess. He's guessed.
Actually, he's guessed. They're wrong. Like they didn't come in for the touch off the boot because effectively, if someone's in the goal square, say you're in the goal square, you never used to leave. It gets touched off the boot. You take a mark on the goal line, and they pay a mark.
Yeah,
you go back, hit the goal. They don't go back and review. Oh, that was actually touched. That was play on. You shouldn't take the mark. So I think they need to scrap that one completely. It's either the howler, the one that hits the post, or touched on the line is probably all it should be used.
Yeah, and I don't mind with two. If you see a finger's bent back, okay, that's done.
So much.
Are we gone time and time again, and then they make something up? If they didn't make it up, show us.
Crystal ball into the future, and I'm pretty sure I heard Eddie speak about this, because given that in major tennis tournaments, the linesmen are no longer a thing, it's all AI and sensory, is it going to be a thing in, it could even be 2 or 3 years' time when goal umpires are completely gone and there's just sensor AI stuff similar to line calls in tennis?
So we're going to rely on technology, are we?
Well... I hope not, but I wouldn't rule it out.
No, well, they were trying to get the chip in the ball.
Yep.
That's gone to heaven. That's finished. That's not happening.
Or hell.
For now.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I was about to say, if it's a technology that's a dud, they don't go to heaven, mate.
No, well, I think it's the best place for it. Good place to go.
Crystal ball. So, yeah.
No, I don't think so. I'll keep going, pause.
You mentioned 4K Fox Footy the other day. Brian Taylor, I want to just hit you up,
wouldn't have heard what Brian said.
Oh, well, apparently viewers on Channel 7 yesterday, Brian Taylor.
What are you doing watching Channel 7?
I flick around.
Like the ads do.
Well, I happen to be on ads, so yeah, I love advertisements.
Rightio.
Yeah.
Watching yourself.
Well, yeah, I was just looking for myself, which is on brand, really. Yeah. Brian Taylor gave Fox a bit of a whack.
Did he?
Yeah.
What was that?
Well, he just said, now, I don't believe this, but Brian's like, well, this is what happened. It's great to be here at Adelaide Oval. It's magnificent to actually be here at the ground. We're the only ones that are here.
You're always at venue.
You're always there.
I'm always there.
You got anything
Down
to say
on the cut stuff?
Yeah.
Hey, and what about Saturday night here at the Gabba?
Yeah, the boys were there.
Howard, Brownie.
Yeah.
Full crew.
Fantastic.
I was down there in the humidity.
Did you go to hit up anywhere after the game with the boys?
No, I think they were headed out. That was quite funny, actually. Durham couldn't get a car at the airport.
What, he doesn't get it? So they get a rent-a-car, they don't just get an Uber or the chauffeur?
Rental car. They'd cancelled his order. Ooh. So he said, no, I've got to have a car. So they found him a car. They got him essentially the high-vis mining ute.
Yes!
Ooh, yes. He wouldn't have known how to drive it, would he?
I don't know.
5 day, 5 night.
But at the CB radio.
Right.
And the CB.
Durham would have loved that.
No, it was good.
BT gets a limo.
Yeah.
Does he?
Yeah, the limo in.
Brian is a legend. He used to get out of Subiaco Oval, he used to get a motorbike to pick him up sometimes.
Oh, that's not brilliant.
And so he'd be getting changed in the last quarter and then drop the headset and then
gone.
Lynchy and Jacko will wrap up after the break and bang, and he's off, motorbike, bang, get the early flight.
Anyway, so it's interesting seeing the TV networks fight because you're now competing properly for the first time. So it's just
that's right. We're doing every game.
The viewers win because you get to decide which
siren
one.
To siren
Fox
without
has got
ad
raps as well.
We got what?
The rap songs.
And you missed out on the Fox Footy rap.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they didn't invite me to do the rap.
Although your technology didn't work on the weekend.
What was that?
On Saturday, kept dropping out.
Who?
Jack was interviewing Dimmer at the ground, couldn't hear him.
Oh, really?
No audio.
Nah,
few issues.
It was sabotage.
Sabotage.
Yeah.
Do you reckon Brian might be involved?
Maybe Brian.
Okay.
We're going off script here. Get us back on track, Dill.
Let's get on to the next segment here on AFL Unpopular Opinions. You are listening to AFL Unpopular Opinions. Dylan Leach, Tom Rockliff, Alastair Lynch are with you. Now, we had a lot of feedback about the quiz last week. People loved it. Loved the quiz.
Yeah, right, yeah.
The chief loved the quiz. He's even using the questions.
Who did you ask? Who loved it?
The punters.
You looking in the mirror. That's the only person.
Just the people are like, is the quiz coming back? Got to do the quiz.
No quiz. Never again.
I'm giving so the quiz will be occasionally. They're going to be popping up every now and then. We'll test your knowledge.
Rarely.
No, that's
once a year.
You got to give
like our multi getting up once a year.
No, well, multi gets up more than that. Come on, don't be like that. But look, you remember a couple of weeks ago I dug up your old footy record pocket profiles. And we updated the answers to the questions that you said back then. Yeah. Well, I've got this year's edition of the AFL Record Pocket Profiles, and I think it's time we update yours for this year's questions. Yep. So there's a few modern ones here, Lynchy. That's a bit more than, most admired sportsman and stuff that you had back in your day.
Yeah, I'm in all sorts of strife. Anything about TV.
No.
Rightio.
Let's go. So,
do they have their age, weight, height?
No, we don't do that. No weight. No.
So,
what is your weight?
Mine?
Yeah.
I was 88 this morning.
That's nice.
This morning, you weigh yourself every day. You've gone mad, haven't you?
I weigh myself every day.
When you were a little rotund, what did you get to? 104. Raise the bat.
Raise the bat.
Very good. Yeah.
I haven't looked for a few weeks. Yeah. I'd say 113.
Very good.
I reckon.
But that's a fit 113.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far.
All right.
Wouldn't go that far.
But let's do the.
From there up, I'm fit as a fiddle.
All right. Let's do the record profile questions.
All right.
Instagram handle.
Oh, he doesn't have it.
I'll tag you in it. Yeah. None.
Wouldn't know what it was.
But hello to our viewers watching this on the Neds Instagram.
I've been trying to swap mine for 6 months. Don't get one, Lynchy, because dealing with Meta is a nightmare.
Do you
rest assured, Tom, I'm not getting it.
No. Your Auskick. Where did you go for Auskick?
What do you mean?
Where was your Auskick? Where did you do Auskick? Benalla?
North
Where'd you
East
do
Victoria.
your Oz kick?
Tidy Town winner.
Tassie kick.
I played for the Green Hornets at Wynyard.
Okay.
Oz kick wouldn't have been a thing when Lynchy was growing up.
No, it would have been Tas kick or whatever it was called.
Still Gaelic football back
Still
then.
Gaelic. I think you were playing Marngrook when you were growing up. Most influential junior coach?
Jeff Hanrahan.
Green Hornets coach was Philip Dell. He was a local, very good player in the local area.
Best school subject?
Sport or maths?
Yeah, only maths.
Maths.
Yeah, maths.
We're numbers, man.
Yeah.
We don't sign 10-year deals for nothing.
Exactly.
I could count, I just couldn't spell my name.
Count the numbers on that contract you signed with the Bears. Last book you read?
Mine would be Grant Cardone X 10 times 10. It's effectively just putting in 10 times the effort.
What was the last book you read?
What's the Champion Data's bloody preview book?
The prospectus.
Yeah, that's it. Read that.
AFL prospectus. Yeah, that's
I
all
was
right.
going through that last week.
Very good. Last concert you went to?
That's not me. I don't know. I went to
I reckon
maybe Adele at the Gabba in like 2017.
Yep. Last concert you
the
went
last one I went to, I reckon, was Elton John.
to? Very nice. That would have been a great gig.
I've been to his last concerts.
So a bit of an Elton fan.
Yeah, the wife is.
Oh,
He
okay.
goes well, though.
Last TV show binged?
Oh, yeah, there was a
Seinfeld.
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 Seinfeld is so relevant in 2025,
I'm with you.
and it was made in the 90s.
Right.
I still watch, yeah.
There's some
Although
crackers
when
around.
you watch a lot of episodes of Seinfeld now and all their dilemmas, it's like they've literally invented phone apps to solve
It's-
everything. But it's still great. No, I'm with you. I watch Seinfeld all the time.
Have you seen Slow Horses?
No.
Get it.
You normally back them on Saturdays.
That's right. That's the tips that come through. Have a look at Slow Horses. Do yourself a favour.
What platform's that on?
Oh, one of them.
Foxtel, I assume. You're a company
I'd
man.
imagine it'd be Binge.
Yeah, binge, Foxtel. Guilty food pleasure.
Chocolate.
Chocolate? What kind of chocolate?
Anything. White, generally.
White
Oh,
chocolate.
Easter's coming up, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm a bit of a chocolate man, but I might go, one that gets me when I don't plan it, I'm at the bakery, Bay Marie, looking, it gets me all the time, caramel slice.
Oh, yeah.
My mum makes a real nice one. I'll bring some in for you one
There we
day.
go. Yeah, that'd be nice. Not the vanilla slice, the caramel
No,
one.
the caramel slice.
Not the snot
Caramel.
block.
See,
Okay.
my mum puts Cadbury chocolate on top instead of the dark, so it gives it that real nice
Rightio.
taste.
All right, we need
Your
Mrs.
mum would be younger than me too, I reckon.
62
just.
or 3.
Yeah, well, Mrs. Rockliff, if Mum Rockliff could bring some.
I'll sort it out.
caramel
Well,
Well,
slice
there's,
for us.
and the snot blocks.
Yeah,
If you're ever driving from Launceston to Hobart,
yeah.
call in at, I think it's Oatlands, the
Okay.
bakery. They're whoppers.
Oh.
Even if you don't like them, you'll love this.
Okay, tell him Lynchy sent you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Boston bun gets me. At
Boston-
the
Oh,
bakery.
Boston
Yeah.
one. Oh, yeah, that's very
With,
nice.
and go overboard with the butter on top of it.
Oh, yeah, you can go dry. I normally go
yeah.
dry.
Yeah, nice. Non-AFL sporting fantasy.
Oh, it always would have been to play cricket for Australia, I would have thought.
No,
Yeah.
I did that.
But now, you did that. But now it'd be golf, wouldn't it? Imagine
Golf.
travelling the world playing golf.
Live or PGA?
Live.
Yeah, all right. Very good.
Yeah. Well, Augusta. Teeing off in Augusta.
teeing off at Augusta.
Imagine the
nerves.
The knot in your guts.
You got
when they call
nervous when you had a camera at Brookwater.
I think mine would just
Oh,
be.
yeah.
Mine would be able to just play it. First item packed for a road trip.
Derps.
Yeah.
road trip, probably water, sparkling water.
Okay.
Sparkling
What
water,
was your
yeah.
football? What's your football?
phone.
Health free.
Probably your phone.
Your
Yeah,
phone.
you probably need your
definitely.
Phone.
Yeah.
Football
The old Melways.
superstition.
Football superstition.
Yeah.
I didn't really have one.
Did you have one?
Yeah, well, I had a couple.
Yeah.
All the Fitzroy years, it was a stupid one. The last thing I did in the house was clean my teeth before I walked out.
Okay.
And outside being captain, last onto the field.
Very good. Worst teammate to travel with and why?
I'll go. I reckon it was. Remember Dion Scott used to play for Brisbane Bears, big 6'5" man, centre forward, ruckman. That was back in the day. They you were two to a room, and he'd set his alarm on, so I sleep in. he sets the alarm and he's starting stretching at the end of my bed at like 6 o'clock in the morning. Did my head in.
Dan Houston, just on the nose a bit.
Yeah. Was it? Oh, that's going to get back. Get back.
What was your coach's favourite saying? Any of the coaches you had?
Oh, they play. There's a lot. Kenny had him on the weekend. Yeah. Did you see? I think Nathan Brown.
Yeah, it was on Media Roca, was it? Yeah. At the end of the day,
it was the same saying over and over.
The reality is,
it was along those lines. Yeah, I don't really tune out after a while, don't you? You would have tuned out by the end with.
Sure. Now you had Lethal, you had David Parkin, you had John Northey.
Well, Parko was just the look and just the intense look in the veins coming out of the neck, and
Wolsey
would
just sit there and just rewind and make you watch it again if blokes pulled out of contest and stuff.
Oh yeah, no, he was brutal. Yeah. He's saying Wolsey sent the runner out from Richmond when I was playing for Brisbane to give me a spray one day.
Nice.
Just to give me a cook.
Now this is a very modern question. Number one influencer at the club. Who would have been an influencer at Brisbane or Port back in your...
well, Travis Boak probably.
Yeah.
Port, Brisbane, not sure who would have been. Probably Joel Patfull now.
Yeah.
What's he into that stuff,
He's
is
into
he?
Fashion.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, him and his
What about
wife.
you? Influencer. Who would have been the influencer? You've played some big personalities.
Charmo. Didn't Charmo had the beauty salon.
Didn't he?
Oh, now he's, what's he, a property...
Richard Champion.
Richard Champs.
Yeah.
Well, Champs still thinks he's 21.
That's true.
He's on the socials, isn't he?
Yeah, he loves it.
Charmo.
Charmo's got his business, doesn't he? They buy a house or something.
Yeah. Who was your best dressed teammate?
Oh, well, probably the same.
Two blokes that have no fashion.
No. T-shirts.
I've seen that. You bought in that Brisbane Bears Dryzerbone a couple of years ago. That was fashion.
I haven't worn it. So Charmo, well presented all the time. Yeah. And so we're on a camp once at Canundra, the army camp.
Yeah.
And they let us out for the night. They said you can go down the Gold Coast now. And all of us, we had nothing really to wear, but Champs had all his kit. So he's got the disco gear. So Andrew Buse and myself stole his really nice jeans, soaked them in water and put them in the freezer and froze them rock hard. And then just before he was going back to his wardrobe, we hung him up and they were like that. So he was flat. He likes his kit.
I would go Charmo probably as well, but I'd have no doubt that Champs would have a leopard print G-string that he'd slip into every now and then.
This is
I have no doubt.
Hello, that's actually not something I want to think.
Hello to Richard Champion if you're listening. Most likely to help an elderly person cross the road.
Ryan Lester.
Yeah.
As in the nicest teammate you've got.
Oh, Luke Power.
Yeah, he was nice too.
Did he help you cross the road, did he?
Yeah. Funny. You were thinking about that one for a while.
Yeah. You wish you'd been at? Event you'd wish you'd been at?
That's a...
Event you wish you were there.
You know what I think, and it's bad, and hopefully it never happens, touch wood. Event I'd like to be at is when they do the demo of the when you're on an aeroplane. I'd like to see one go down just to see how
okay. I wasn't expecting that one.
How they conducted themselves in an emergency.
Calmly.
Yeah, whether it was just panic or
drops down.
Like if we're going down, just grab your oxygen mask, put it on.
This has taken a turn. I was not
obviously not love.
I was hoping you were saying that, I wish I was there for
I think
Plugger breaking the record or something. But okay. Plane going down.
Augusta where Tigers rolled in. Where it just, or one of Jordan's.
The Nike logo just about to fall in. Yeah. Don Bradman Century at the MCG.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Just the Don, just to see.
Did you miss out that day, did you?
Yeah, no,
couldn't get a ticket that day.
At uni that day.
Yeah, right. And quick fire. These are dumbest rule in footy. How long's a piece of string? Should that be your answer?
Be here all day.
Pushing the back rule in the marking contest.
The deliberate now is so inconsistent.
One rule change, I think you'd make straight away.
I'd bring third man up back.
Yep.
Why'd that go out? Because
Lee didn't like it. Well, I don't know. But I think they said it contributed to congestion, but I think it has the opposite effect. Because you just get a third up and he'd knock it out.
What was the question again?
Rule change.
Rule change. One rule change you'd make right now.
I'd sack the bounce straight away.
Sack the bounce. Okay, so that's the next question. Ditch the centre bounce. Yes, that's for both. How many AFL games do you watch each week?
9.
9, do you?
9, all of them. And on repeat, and record them on Foxtel in 4K.
Yeah.
No ads. Love it.
Yeah.
All at the venue. See Lynchy on the cut stuff.
Brilliant.
Interviewing Zork.
Can't get better. Tomato sauce in the fridge.
No.
Palmy or Palmer?
I'll go both, I think. Palmy. Do you have a Palmy? Do you have a Palmer?
Palmer.
Doesn't affect me as much as others.
Palmy.
Potato cake or potato scallop?
Cake.
Yeah, potato.
Spud cake.
Spud cake.
You go and order half a dozen spud cakes at a local fish and chip shop. They've got no idea what you're talking about.
Queensland, they're like,
A spud cake.
I'll tell you what I like doing, actually, before we move on. When you pay with cash now and watching people try and calculate it back to you.
Oh, no idea.
It's a little guilty pleasure of mine.
Although some places love it when you pay with cash, and I'll give you a bit extra. There's a couple of restaurants that are like delighted when you pull out the cash.
Yeah, they just got to get someone over 50 about to give you a change back.
Well, you used to go to a pub and the change would be there, bang, smack. Now, people got no idea.
Smooth or crunchy peanut butter?
Crunchy
all the way. Hot chips condiment.
What's that?
What's your preferred hot chips condiment?
Like to dip it?
Yeah.
Or
tomato sauce.
Yeah, Diane sauce.
Diane sauce.
Yeah.
You're going weird.
Also, when did aioli... Speaking of pubs and changes, when did aioli become the default dip for chips? No, yes, it has. You go everywhere. They give you aioli over tomato sauce.
No, tomato sauce.
Go weird.
And the last question. These are the actual questions from the AFL record this year. Your favourite ice cream flavour?
Oh, I like a rainbow paddle pop.
Yeah, that's always good. A rainbow paddle pop.
Royal Copenhagen.
Oh, yeah. Only the best for you.
A bit of honeycomb in it. Beautiful.
Fantastic.
You
there we
wouldn't eat that shit.
No, I love ice cream. Yeah. My diet's not great.
What do you get to when you're porked up?
When I porked up, I got it. The biggest I got was 132.
Cheapest.
Yeah.
Jeez. And how long ago was that? This is not having a go at you. This
no.
Is
Don't. If we talk about weight, 4 years ago.
Yeah. And what are you roughly now?
86.
So you've lost nearly 50.
Yeah.
Makes a difference.
A lot gone through a lot of clothes in the past year or so.
I reckon. Right.
Back to wrap up now on AFL Unpopular Opinions. Time to wrap up here on AFL Unpopular Opinions. We've covered everything from footy to ice cream flavours to Tom's weight loss. Tom's mum's going to, speaking of weight loss, Tom's mum's going to bring us in some caramel slice, I'm told. I'm excited.
So you two will be losing weight, I'll be putting it on.
That's it. Time to wrap up. What are we looking forward to? I assume we're all looking forward to Gold Coast and Adelaide at
I'll be at
People
that game.
First Stadium, Carrara.
Remember, I will be at that game.
You will. Oh, Lynchy will be there. I'm thinking of going too.
I'll be at that game. Yeah,
the cut stuff.
Yep, I'll be down there.
The green stuff.
That'll be a huge game.
Oh, huge.
Who are you tipping? Who are you tipping?
Adelaide. I looked at the markets earlier. Adelaide at 2.10.
Gold Coast.
And the line is, the last time I checked, Adelaide are at $2, and the line is 2.5.
Jeez, it's a tight game.
Toss of the coin. I think Gold Coast because it's at home, and they were basically unbeatable at home last year.
Crows will be drinking their bath water.
They'll get rolled. Is this early? You're making finals if you win that way?
Almost. Almost. Unless you fall over, like we've seen it before. But I'm just looking. You'll be happy. The 12-20 bounce.
Oh, jeez, hasn't
27 degrees.
Hasn't the boundary rider with the jacket on been smashed the last couple of weeks? I'll be down to your weight.
There is no more enjoyable venue to watch football from than Carrara on the non-broadcast side with the sun exposed on a hot day. Magnificent.
School holidays too, so big crowd, I reckon.
Oh, yeah, a lot of people travelling up from Adelaide.
Take the kids down?
Yep.
Beautiful.
Brilliant. And I'm looking forward to...
Send them down, they can come for a wander with me.
I will. Send them out on the deck, on the cut stuff.
Can I come down?
No, you've lost 50 kilos, but you need to lose a few more. You can get you past as a kid.
Oh, good.
The two games are Thursday,
the other one
Friday
I'm looking forward to, Collingwood and Carlton, particularly if Carlton lose, I will be tuning into SEN straight away, and it's a real shame that Finey's final siren is after Friday night football, not Thursday night football. So, Finey, if you could please do an emergency show on Thursday night so we can listen to Snapper from Port Phillip Bay lose his shit, that would be magnificent. Boys, I've had a fun show with you this week.
Very good.
And before we go, I'm going to leave on a sad note. As we were recording this on Monday morning, we were given the sad news that Andrew Cracker, former Collingwood and Richmond player, tragically passed away at age 42 of what is reported, what they're reporting, is a heart attack. Of course, 137 games between 2001 to 2013 for Richmond and Collingwood. He won Mark of the Year. So he's a fellow Mark of the Year winner in 2011, and very remembered fondly, particularly in Waffles. He's had he had a hard life, but an amazing story, and it's just really sad news. So our thoughts with all his friends, family, ex-teammates, and everyone involved. That's just unfortunately to end on that sad note.
It is a tragic, another tragic day. We've had a few of those in recent times with young men and in the past years young females as well in the football industry that are losing their lives far too early. Tragic news.
Yeah, our thoughts and love and care is certainly with the Cracker family and all of those involved. And on that note, we'll catch you next week.
You win some, you lose more. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website